All right, it is 6:30 on the dot. Woo! Thank you all so much for being here for Wine and Wags. We weren't able to be together last year. We were together virtually, right? How amazing does it feel to be back together in person for ICAN?
And I must say, I feel like I'm in a rock band. And we're right at the edge of the stage, and everybody up in front here can be our groupies, right? Very exciting to have everyone here to see faces and see everybody enjoying each other.
So the program is going to start in just a second because, of course, we're here celebrating Wine and Wags. But we would be remiss if we didn't tell you about something very special coming up a little bit later in 2022. Because if you can believe it or not, ICAN is turning 20 years old next year.
Yep.
And we're going to be celebrating our 20 years right here again in the beautiful Biltwell Event Center. In fact, we're taking over the entire building. So mark your calendars for Friday, April 29th from 5:30 to 11.
Wow. And there are so many activities there. We're going to have Paw Vegas, casino night for adults, games for kids. We have live karaoke, so that will be an interesting approach. Door prizes, bourbon tasting, wine pulls, chocolate tastings, you name it. So many things to make it a true celebration. Tickets will go on sale February 22nd. So do not miss this opportunity. Again, February 22nd is when the tickets go on sale.
As everybody's settling into their seats, I'm going to give you a 90-second call, and then the program is going to start with our first speaker. So once again, I would like to thank our sponsors, the Biltwell Event Center, Bright Ideas in Broad Ripple, the DOZ Foundation, and Marquee Stage Rental with Jason Fruits and Tyler Lake. Again, please keep in mind that the ICAN calendar is on sale, $25, and you can get that autograph tonight. So already looking forward to 2022.
Right? So now I think we invite our first speaker up, and we have Howard Weiss with us today. And Howard has been a strong supporter for ICAN, loves dogs, loves what ICAN does. And he is actually the owner and president of the Trim a Seal companies in Gary, Indiana. And he's been in business for over 40 years. We'll have Howard come join us up here to share with you some of his thoughts.
Well, hello. My name is Howard Weiss. I am the proud owner of a release dog, an ICAN release dog. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I was surprised that Dino asked me to come up here and do this. I'm like, no, not doing it. Public speaking, not, you know. And I'm thinking about it a little more. And that next evening, I'm thinking, they've done so much for me. I have gotten so much out of ICAN that, you know, I really didn't have a choice. If I could help, I needed to. I needed to make a difference. And I thought I had also something different to say that I will also get to in a minute. Briefly, my story is that I raised 4 dogs from puppies, and I knew I couldn't do it again. Okay, I knew that raising from a puppy was just going to be too difficult. I'm alone now, not going to work. And then I was talking to a good friend, Janet Goff, who told me about a program that sometimes these dogs don't make it to quite being service dogs, and they become a release dog. So I'm like, oh my God, how do I get on the list? What do I do? So I put together a doggy resume and sent it in, and that and a little begging, I was paired up with my baby, Gibby, who was a yellow female lab. This girl was, I'm going to read it. It was a yellow golden girl, low energy, TV watching, sweet, ball retrieving, swimmy release dog, or as I call it from now on, it's an I can't. Okay. But really, I really don't want to. This is a choice. I'm going to do it my way. So Gibby also comes with a little story I want to share with you. You might know that if you do sponsor an ICAN dog, you get to name the dog. And Gibby was named after a father-daughter that they were on their annual trip from Bloomington, Indiana, and he was a private pilot, and the plane went down. They both lost their lives, and somebody decided to sponsor a dog in their name, and it was kind of like the part of the first name and part of the last name. I'm not getting that. However, obviously it's the worst nightmare. What can you do? So they did this to honor in memoriam to the father and daughter. To this day, I don't know who it is. Never met the person. When I say the stars were lined up, I have a little story myself. I was in Bloomington, where I went to school. I became a private pilot myself. And I was home in Gary, Indiana, and I was flying a friend back to Bloomington. And on that trip, on the way back that night, on final approach, I had an engine on. And that means it just quit. And I wasn't going to make it. I knew it. And I ended up with no choice but to land on 5th Avenue in Gary, where I crashed and I flipped, and I ended up crawling out. And when I say I didn't have a scratch, okay, I mean, there was no, I was fine, not in a scratch. Who knows why that I was lucky like that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm hearing about Gibby and her name and her story, and I'm just thinking, what a coincidence? I don't know. But I do know that after that, I was in the crowd of onlookers watching and looking at the plane, and people are like, who's the pilot? I don't, I had no idea. You have or will hear some amazing stories about these service dogs, what they do for people. And what I said I wanted to speak to was the release dogs, the ICANs, okay, that are amazing trained dogs. They are paired and with people that need a dog, but necessarily they don't qualify for a service dog. There's not that many available. When we go places, Gibby's a complete pro. We'll stop for visits where she loves to greet people of all ages. And all this was learned through ICAN. She'll jump on the bed on command for people and lets them cuddle as if saying, if you have to, okay, but loves it. Now, when accepting an ICAN dog, it's explained why the dog was released. Might not seem like it's a big deal, but it's understood that it's very important that they that they have these standards in order to be released dogs. Where are you at? Okay, so I think we're on 10. Okay, so these ICAN dogs know who they are. They sense, they go to work, and it's just what time it is to do what they know what to do. This is when I decided our company really needed to sponsor one. I owed a debt of gratitude, and it hit me that it was something I needed to do. And so we met Garbo Grace. So Garbo was our first dog, our first sponsor dog. My girlfriend, Kristen Sullivan, decided she wanted to do it with me. Great dog lover, great animal lover. It was just something we had to do. It's a great experience. I recommend it. It's heartwarming and it's good for the soul. Janet, who I explained earlier, is what they call a furlough, and that is what they're in between a trainer and a puppy raiser. She can tell you all about it. She was supposed to be here, but she's out somewhere. Never know. Anyway, sometime later, Janet and Larry, they both sponsored their own service dog. I know Bailey and ICAN changed the way they did things, and it changed their lives. Now, I think that they now sponsored their second dog. The first is Maggie. I don't know. Maggie's here somewhere. I'm not sure. And now, oh, there. And also now Mulligan, okay, which is their second one. One thing to note, if you don't graduate, if the dog doesn't graduate, as a sponsor, you get the first option of getting that dog. Well, the call came. Garbo is being released, and although qualified, she had some gastro medical issues, and that was the end of it. Garbo's a wide-eyed, high-drive, face-licking bundle of energy character whose motto is, why go around something if you can go through it? And somebody with a sense of humor, taught her to do a trick. And if you ask her who farted, she raises her paw. Okay? So she was perfect for Kristen, right? Who is also looking for a rescue dog, and it was just in the stars again. Garbo being somebody she loved in the movies, and Grace being her middle name, and the next dog that she planned on naming. And they were the same. High energy, high drive, wide-eyed, go, 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 and you figure it out. No, not really. I'm dead. Garbo's annex brings her joy and happiness. Kristen's streaming. Hey. And since then, these dogs have been doing their jobs. And Gibby and Garbo have been the duo, and they've been bringing double joy to wherever they go, and people always stop fascinated with these two wonderful dogs. Soon, it was time to sponsor our next service dog. I knew it. Somebody very dear to me lost a grandchild, and I knew that we wanted to do that, and with permission from the family, the parents, and my friend, they allowed me to do it, and now we have Madison. I'm not sure where Madison is, but she's just a beautiful dog, kind of a year and a half, I think, old now, and doing great. They get to share the journey. They get letters from the trainers. They get visits, and it's just something comforting that brings something else for these people, and it brings something else to you for doing it. On behalf of all the I can't dogs, or I don't wanna, I can't think of anything better than to quote Garbo and say, thanks.
Howard, thank you so much. I don't think I'm ever going to think of I can't in the same way again. I don't think I can't is such a bad thing, right? Well, I know kids are going back to school, and some kids in a central Indiana school might be a little luckier than others because they have a little ICAN in their lives.
I was asked to list the positive impact a school facility dog, Forrest, has made on the students and staff of our building. And as I told Courtney before, it's an easy question to answer.
My name is Courtney Hedges. I work at George Washington Carver Montessori 87. It's an inner city school, Indianapolis Public Schools. I am the title teacher here. I teach reading, and we work with students from pre-K all the way through 8th grade. The things that Forrest do here at school also carry over into their home life and school life. So saying, we brush his teeth every day, you need to brush your teeth every day. That just encourages the kids to brush their teeth. They also, he's cleaning up his toys. You need to clean up your toys at home.
One of my favorite things that I like for Forrest to do is to read with the students. And he sits there quietly as they read and just listens. And just his presence is very calming. And he is teaching them. He's teaching them many things. He's teaching them about emotional learning. He's teaching them to calm down. He's teaching them to center themselves and to focus. He's also teaching them things that we do in a Montessori classroom called grace and courtesy, being kind, being respectful. All those things are really important.
I love working with the kids. I love seeing them grow. I will say this year has been an extreme challenge for all teachers. I think this is the most challenging year we've had. Everybody loves Forrest, and I think that really helped with all this COVID stress that we've had. I think he really just was able to help take some of that stress away.
He's here for the children every day to help them, but he's also here for the staff. He helps me. He is a member of our school family, and we love him very much.
What a cutie, right? At this time, I would like to welcome Jennifer Veach up to the stage. She is a student interventionist at Knightstown Elementary School and is a co-handler for Freddie. Freddie is the school's ICAN facility dog, and in her tenure as an educator, Jennifer has been a classroom teacher and a reading specialist, Title I teacher, and is in her 4th year as a student interventionist. Jennifer?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Jennifer Veach, and I am the student interventionist at Knightstown Elementary. And I am here to talk about, it's not up there yet, my sweet boy, Fred. There he is. And so he cannot be here tonight because he's a much bigger fan of people than he is other dogs. And so we want him to mind his manners, and so he's not here tonight. My kiddos and Fred are two of my most favorite things to talk about. And so I'm here tonight to share with you some of their stories. On this, well, when we flip to the next screen, you're going to see pictures of Fred and how he brings love and joy and support to our kids at Knightstown Elementary every day. So from the moment that he gets to school in the morning until it is time for him to go home, he is building rapport and making everyone, I would like to say just the kids happy, but that would be a lie. Like the adults get just excited to be, hello, Fred, with their special Fred wave, as the kids do. So we spend part of our day promoting good character and pushing into classrooms and talking about how to be trustworthy and respectful and fair and caring and be a good citizen. And when we have those conversations with students and I'm teaching those lessons, it makes so much more sense to them when they can connect it back to Fred and the expectations that we have for him and how he has to be respectful, and he has to follow the rules just like we want them to. And for your kindergarten, first, second, and third grade kiddos, this resonates more concretely than it does to say, now you need to be nice to one another. Sometimes we're like, I really don't want to. By having Fred model what good character and behavior looks like, my conversations with kids run so much more smoothly, and he's able to encourage them to do sometimes things that they don't want to be doing. We have reluctant learners that show up every day, like nervous to put themselves out there to be readers and writers and mathematicians. And when Fred is in the room, the vibe just changes. He brings calmness. He brings encouragement. He brings pieces to the table that we as people could never imagine bringing. And one way that I encourage our kids to write to Fred is through his mailbox. And at the front of the building, he has a little Freddy doghouse and a mailbox. And they write to him, they draw him pictures, they send him birthday cards, and they love it when he delivers mail and writes back to them. I gotta be honest, it's me. But that's fine, right? I give it to him and he delivers it, and they're like, Fred wrote me, this is so great. But also, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see a note from one of our friends that says, when I'm sad, you hear me. And Fred just brings love and kindness and compassion and patience to these kids' lives that they otherwise may not experience, because the relationship between people is so different than it is between that of a relationship with a human and a dog. So I'm going to talk to you about some of those relationships and special situations that we've experienced. The first kiddo that Fred worked with, she was a first grader, and she has a difficult and a very traumatic past. She's a product of sexual abuse and foster care and an emotional disability. And I know that I poured my heart into helping her. And I was not prepared to cry. And the first time that Fred worked with her, she cuddled up next to him and she would pet his fur and calm down in minutes. And we were having meltdowns daily that would last upwards of 30 minutes. And it was magic. I was so impressed. And I'm like, okay, we made the right choice. This is fantastic. We have another student who, and what's funny is this actually happened just today, very explosive meltdowns. And just this thought that she's getting ready to walk into Fred's space helps calm her down. She knows that he is not going anywhere, that she can be any version of herself that she is, and that he loves her and that she loves him. And today she sat and she held on to him and loved on him, and he didn't move. And when she was ready to process with me, she said, I just love Fred so much. And I was like, well, me too, girl, me too. At the beginning of the school year, we had back to school night, thankfully in person this year, right? And we had a former student who actually, she's at the intermediate building now. And she came back just to get a hug and to say thank you. And to see is the facility dog here? And I said, he's actually not. But she just wanted to say thank you for helping me when my mom passed away. And the trauma and the loss that our kids experience, and they don't always feel safe and comfortable talking to an adult or talking to another person. But I removed myself from that situation, let her read and just snuggle with him and listen to her talk, and you learn so much. You learn all these things that they're feeling inside that they're not always sure that they can say to you, but they sure don't mind saying to him. We also have plenty of students who have a variety of special needs. One of our kiddos who is on the autism spectrum sometimes struggles to relate to people, regulate his emotions. when his schedule is off, that can really be a trigger for him. And we bring Fred along. He's happy to see him. We go and have time together, and he is ready to have his day start over again. And it is amazing how just these snippets of time with an animal can cause so much goodness for the lives of our kiddos. But I would be lying, like I said, if I said it was just for the kids. The staff, they stop by. I mean, I have a table of them right over there, that they stop by every single day and just want a little bit of Fred love, because, I mean, what's better than that? This is the part that I want to make sure I read. So here we go. The decision to incorporate a facility dog into Knightstown Elementary and the Charles A. Beard Memorial School Corporation was one of the best decisions that we have ever made. We're so thankful to Crow for their partnership in sponsoring Freddie. I knew from the first time we met him that we were going to make a terrific team, but who we are now is more than I have ever dreamed. Fred's overall impact has been greater than anything we could have ever imagined, and to say that the staff and students love him would be an understatement. He's an invaluable resource and member of our C.A. Beard family, and we're proud of him every day for the work he does and the lives that he positively impacts. He really is the best boy. We tell him every day. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm doing better than I did 2 years ago, because 2 years ago I carried a tissue box around me all evening. But it's stories like these that, you know, they create the tears, they pull at your heartstrings, but it's about the passion of what a single dog and this whole program can do, not for one person, not for two people, but multiples. And I think that's so very important. So I'm also very honored to introduce this next person, and I'm going to lower this because I am so short. But I think it's very important to meet this person because she's very integral to the whole ICAN program. And as part of that, I had just 5 minutes with her earlier tonight, 5 minutes. And I could feel that she was a force to be reckoned with, and someone who really speaks from the heart. So I would like to now move to the video of Warden Lachelle Turner.
My name is Lachelle Turner. I'm the warden of the Indiana Women's Prison. I've been with the Department of Correction for 30 years. As I began, I realized that I was very much passionate about my job, and I realized this was home to me. Me being in the position that I am now is giving me the opportunity to share and implement some of the ideas and thoughts that I've had in regards to successful reintegrations. I tried to find ways to help and resolve not only this offenders but staff as well. And I think for the most part, most people that really truly know me knows that's who I am. And it's not a facade for others, but it's who I've been called to be, and this is what I'm here to do. And that's the mission that I have at this time and at this place and in this season. I try to provide all the services that I can to make them better individuals. You know, we were providing programs, but we needed programs to address their actual needs. I use the analogy of an apple tree. What happens, you plant the seed, and the seed is an apple tree initially, but as we go through life, we all experience issues. The seed that was initially planted as an apple, now you have a peach and you have a plum and you have a cantaloupe and all. I view all of those fruits as issues. And now you have this big, huge tree that initially was supposed to be an apple tree, and now it's a tree full of hurt, trauma, and issues. So we started addressing those individual fruits, whatever that fruit is, and we can start plucking those fruits off. And so I always tell the offenders, now we've plucked the fruits off, let's dig this tree up and let's replant the apple seeds all over again. And it's a wonderful thing when you see that the tree is now producing the apples in which it's required. You know, that's what the expectation is. And when you see that, you recognize it, and it makes you feel a sense of value. When I hired in at the Indiana Women's Prison, and I attended the first ICAN graduation, and I saw how it impacted the community, how it impacted the offenders, how it impacted the facility as a whole. The unit where we house the dog and the offenders is one of our better units. You feel the peace that the dogs bring to the staff that work in the unit and to the offenders in that unit. And they are so well behaved because that's their home, and those dogs are their children. If they ever even thought about removing ICAN, I would advocate for keeping them, because the staff as well, they're always willing to comply with our rules and regulations. They don't try to go outside of our requests. They don't make our jobs difficult. We just recently went through reaccreditation, and I had to stand before the panel hearing, and they didn't have the question they wanted to ask me was about the programs, and they wanted to know how could we have a maximum security facility and very few assaults and things of that nature. And I told them it was strictly because of the programming. And I had mentioned that ICAN was one of our big programs that has a huge impact. These ladies, they have no conduct reports now. They've gone from maybe at one time receiving 10 or 11 disciplinary reports a year to none in the past 5, 10, 15, some 20 years, no conduct reports, just from being and participating in the ICAN program. And I look at these individuals, and sometimes I'll tell others, you guys would not know this person and realize it's the same person if had you met this person 5 years ago. So it has changed the ladies tremendously to their positive, productive, warm, caring, and I'll use caring with a capital C. They become very caring, not only with the dogs, but even compassionate and caring towards the staff. And once they're in the program and they graduate, most of them don't want to move from the unit, and they become very emotional because they have a sense of belonging, and they feel like they've given back. You know, they prepare the dogs to provide, service dogs for the community. And, when you have 300 plus civilians coming to a graduation to see a dog handler passing a dog off to someone in need, words can't describe what that feels like for the offenders, for the receivers, and for the staff that are there to witness it. It's very rewarding for us, and it's rewarding for the offenders because they feel welcome, they feel accepted, and it gives them the opportunity to show who they are today and not the crime they committed years ago. I would urge anyone, just come to one graduation, come in and just request a tour to see the unit, to see what the program has to offer. And I think that it would change their perception of what the program has to offer, what the offenders bring to the table, what we bring to the table, but most of all, what ICAN brings to us as a department. So we thank ICAN for what they provide to us as a facility, as well as to the offender population.
And I completely echo Warden Turner's advice. If you ever have a chance to go to an ICAN graduation at Indiana Women's Prison, do not pass up that opportunity. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Warden Turner to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I thank you for the invitation to come to this event. I'm going to make this brief because I'm following orders tonight instead of giving them. I've been in the department 30 years. I've worked at 7 different facilities, and throughout those years, I've always been in operations where we was just safety and security, pound, rules, regulation. But I knew within myself that was not my calling. But then when I was transferred over to the program department, that's where I felt at home. And while I was there, I had the opportunity to really express who I am and what I've been called to do. And I'm going to make this short because I'm going to follow Dino's orders. And it's my pleasure, and I'm delighted and have the opportunity to introduce one of our post-incarcerated individuals that was there while I was there, and she represented everything in which I just spoke about. And if you would please give an applaud to, what's your name? I'm joking. Joan Burns. Thank you.
Hi guys, how are you? So I'm so glad to be here tonight. I was here for the last Wine and Wags previous to COVID. So I was released in March of 2019 after doing an 11 and a half year time. And I was with ICAN for 5 years. And I didn't get into ICAN until the latter part of my incarceration. And as I look back, I feel that was really the perfect time for me to get into ICAN. I spent the first part of my sentence appealing, learning, more about the laws, being mad at God, being mad at myself. And once I really looked at myself and stopped being mad, I was the reason I was away from my kids, my life, and I just had to reset myself. So once I did that, my goal still stayed the same of doing what I could to try and get out of there as quickly as possible. However, it was just, I just needed something different. And so while I was out at rec, I would always see Laura Campbell. She always had her 30 dogs that she trained at once. And I would always see her and I'm like, okay, I love this dog. It was Cooper that she had. And, I started feeling like a creeper because I was always staring at her, staring at Cooper. Now, let me talk to this lady so she's not feeling some type of way. So I started asking questions about what the program was about. How do I get in it? And I just knew that I had to apply. So, by the way, it was an actual real application that I had to fill out for this program. So that was something different, but it was something nice though. So once I got in the program, there was actual training, there was book work, classes to attend. And unlike most, I'm a little bit crazy. I like school. So this was a dream for me. But after getting my first pup, Teddy, I was elated, but Teddy was nuts. Teddy was nuts. He didn't like all people and he did not like all dogs, but he had a spirit that was unbreakable and definitely unmatched. So Teddy was released, but he taught me so much. He reminded me of my youngest son, Robert, and he had a spirit all his own. So once I realized that, I'm kind of looking at my own kid, I started training these dogs like being at home with my own kids. And, this started helping me to heal my soul. As a parent, our jobs, is to teach our children what to expect in the world, how to handle things and how to function and be better than we were, and give them that toolbox that maybe our parents weren't given or we weren't given, but make them better. So, and I also have a special needs son, Jonathan. So when I trained a dog, I trained that dog as if I was handing that dog off to my son. I mean, I didn't feel that it would be fair to give a client less than I would give my own son. So I felt I needed to give the best to every single dog that I had in my possession, especially when it's going to do everything to make their lives better. So I appreciate the teachers that I had, like Heather Shaw, Nanette Luckhart, Amanda Wolfla, who would get up with me early in the morning, because I get up early in the morning. So they would get up early with me to help me train or answer my questions and spend extra time with me to make sure that I was giving, my dogs the best in everything that they possibly needed. But when I became a senior handler, I also gave back and I helped those who needed it. Any dog, any handler that needed help, I made sure to do that. I was also in college programs as well. So I made sure to make time for everything and everybody. And ICAN was a great place for me. It allowed me to be the woman and the mother that I was desperately missing, being with, prior to incarceration. So I feel I trained some great dogs like Senna, Bandit, Brody, Jahari, and Montauk, aka Monkey. I wish I had, I wish I could have trained dogs upon release, but that just wasn't in the cards. And be that as it may, I have my own dog now, Duke, that I'm getting him ready to be grand girl approved, because I have a 1.5-month-old granddaughter. So this program has just been the world to me, and anytime I can help, anything I can do to help, I'm always here for that. But before I leave this podium, I must thank ICAN for for even being in the prison to begin with. I had some good trainers: Jennifer, Ann, Sally, Sean, Sandy, Dino, Jillian. They gave everyone an opportunity to take the program, do better, and just have the option to be better if that's what you chose to do. And I love the volunteers to pieces because they are so sweet. Most importantly, I really, truly miss my sisters in arms that are still there in the prison. Some of them I saw on here: Alkia, Bianca, Hannah, and so many more. Because we were in the struggle together, we cried together, we laughed together, and we stood together throughout all the pain. But we made it happen for these dogs, and we made it happen for the clients, because we wanted them to have a better life. No matter what we may have been going through, it was all about the clients and these dogs. So thank you.
My name is Jeffrey Jatlock. I'm currently serving an 18-year sentence at Correctional Industrial Facility.
My name is Artie Thomas. I'm being housed at the Correctional Industrial Facility.
I'm at CIF prison.
Squan Turner. Been incarcerated for 24 years, and I've been locked up for the charge of murder.
Received an 18-year sentence for a drug offense.
Incarcerated right now for manslaughter, voluntary manslaughter.
Locked up on a murder charge, 3 counts of criminal recklessness.
The type of person I was selfish, drug addicted.
I was just out of control. I was an alcoholic and a drug addict.
Addicted to the streets, pumping and selling drugs.
My first few months coming into prison, the way that I was feeling was just kind of like broken.
I was in a dark place. I wanted to change. I knew I had to change, but I knew I lost everything once again.
I had really just given up. There was just so much time, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
Once I arrived in this penitentiary and I seen that animals were here in the facility, I was really wanting to give it a try.
When I seen that scene right there, all the dogs and everything, it made it look like not as bad as what I was thinking in my mind.
The day that Tyler arrived to me, on the first day, I was happy.
I was just really super excited. It felt like there was something different and better.
I'll never forget the first time I trained the cabinet, retrieving stuff from the cabinet. When he got it, that was my aha moment.
Seeing that dog get it was just like, I can do whatever.
I've never finished anything in my life, so this was the first, big goal that I set my mind to that I actually completed, and it felt great.
What I'm doing with this program, it makes me feel good knowing that I can help someone else out there in the world in need.
I don't think like I used to think. I don't act the way I used to act because this program is made me mature. Made me just stop and put others before myself.
You develop this, should I say, this sense of trying to overcome everything that you face. And being able to help someone else overcome that sort of helps you.
Before ICAN, I was not trustful, dishonest, and just wasn't a good person. After ICAN, working with these dogs, I've respectful, responsible, definitely honest.
For the supporters and those that are helping with ICAN, I want to say thank you.
Keep giving us hope. We appreciate everything you do, and we'll continue giving our best, and we can't do this without you.
I appreciate what y'all doing and, just keeping this program alive and helping individuals that's in need.
The last thing I'd like to share is the people that sponsor these dogs and the volunteers. I just want to say thank you, and to Sean and everybody for coming in and working with us. This is really a life-changing thing. It means a lot, and I just want to thank y'all, and please keep doing what you're doing.
So let me ask, how many of you here are the first time you've been exposed to wine and wags? Okay. So how many here are, I don't think you're new, but that's okay. Now wait. Anyway, so how many of you feel the power of ICAN tonight? I mean, I'm just amazed by this. And I'm going to ask another question because Dino, you had mentioned that the special person who painted a beautiful portrait for us is here tonight. Is that correct? No? Okay. If not, I'll hopefully even try to introduce that person later. Because this person has been a long time connected with us corporately. But I have just felt the power, not only of what it means for a client, but really the entire process and how that really brings everything to light. So I am going to turn this now to Brittany Barker and Molly, and a bit more about the client engagement and the special role that these dogs have in these people's lives.
Having a service dog wasn't anything that I thought I needed, honestly. It was my doctor, actually, that she said, you know what? I really think you should look into service dog. And I was like, at first I was like, no, I'm fine. It'll be okay. Kind of the way that I always have been my whole life. Like, I'll be fine. Not realizing what a great impact that she has had on my life and what she can do for me. So I have a hidden disability. Just because I don't look disabled doesn't mean they know what I'm going through or what I go through and what I struggle with. Yes, I look fine when you see me out places, but but here's my daily struggles, and this is what causes it. I started getting sick when I was about 7 years old. I was vomiting all throughout the night, and nobody could pinpoint what it was from. At 8 years old, I was sent to a specialist in Chicago, and they diagnosed me with cyclic vomiting syndrome. I started passing out and couldn't stay hydrated, and I turned into the girl at school that passed out in the lunchroom and not who I was. After I had my kids, I was 22, and I got diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So it's a connective tissue disorder. So basically, all the connective tissue in your body, which is all throughout, doesn't do what it's supposed to. I can't regulate my blood pressure, my heart rate, body temperature, and several other things. I have POTS, which is when my heart rate and blood pressure changes according to sitting, laying, standing. So bending over, for instance, can make me feel very lightheaded to where I could even pass out. And there's times that I've stood up and then realized I had to lay right back down to the ground to give my body time to like reset. So having something that is hidden doesn't stop it from being there just because you can't see it. Having that dog there to give me that sense of independence, to give me that strength and courage to be out there, to know that like I'm not alone in that. I have my partner, and she may be a dog, but she's my partner. And so that sense of independence has been great. And I can thank my doctor for that, because before her, I wouldn't even thought twice about it. She can get laundry out of my dryer. Anything bending over and standing back up can make me feel very lightheaded. So that transition from the dryer to the basket, and she can even pull the basket to me so I can fold it. So it doesn't even have to be, I can sit at the kitchen table so she can put the clothes in the dryer and pull the basket to me to where I can fold them there. I don't have to use that energy. So by not using that energy on stuff like that, I'm able to put it towards my kids, and we can go out and play. The great thing is we can play with the dogs. We're throwing a ball and we're being able to enjoy life. Let's go to the park. Let's do these things, because I don't have to use that energy at home as much. I can conserve that and I can use it elsewhere. Molly can get a blanket for me. She gets my phone. She picks up anything off the floor that I need her to get. Anything. Like there's not anything that I feel like she can't do. As what a dog can do, she can pretty much do it all. I still could not believe when I got the call from Sandy that I had been matched, that I was actually matched. I just started crying everywhere. Then I called my mom and I started crying that I had a match. After 4 years of waiting, I had a match. When Molly came in and I met her, I mean, of course, she's so stinking cute and beautiful, and I loved her immediately. But what really made me know that she was my match was Sandy said, "Okay, Molly, you ready to go?" And she came and sat on my feet. Like, nope, this is my person. I'm not ready to go. And it was literally that moment that obviously still brings me to tears to know that she knew and I knew that she was my person. And it's not been even, I haven't even second guessed it. God put her in my life. And it sounds crazy to say that God put an animal in my life, but he did. He created her for me. And I have no doubts about that. And I'm just thankful for it.
So with ICAN, it's so easy to see how lives change at both ends of the leash. And to talk more about her journey, I would love to welcome Brittany to the stage.
Down.
Sorry, I cry every time I watch that video. And I'm super nervous, so. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night so far. Ever since I was asked to speak here, I had been thinking about how to put the way I feel into words. Sometimes I think Facebook reads our minds, because here I was thinking about this and scrolling through my Molly. Okay, shake it off. Down. Thank you. One morning, and a quote came up about a chronic illness, because, you know, I'm on a lot of chronic illness pages. And it said, everyone understands pain, but what is hard to explain is the exhaustion. My first thought was like, not everyone understands my pain. But that's not what the quote said. It said, everyone understands pain. And the more I thought about that, the truer I felt it was. There are many words to describe pain. Sharp, achy, and stabbing are just a few. Hospitals have pain scales that they use. Needless to say, everyone has experienced pain. It might be to a different extent or duration, but everyone can understand pain. What's difficult to understand is the fatigue. People automatically think you're depressed or just lazy. However, that's simply not the case. I'm not saying depression does not happen in those with a disability, because I know from experience that it does. I'm not saying that we don't have lazy days. We do. We're still human, a little fragile, but human nonetheless. However, depression and laziness are not what the exhaustion stems from. When I was diagnosed with an autonomic dysfunction in Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, the doctor told me to look up the spoon theory. After reading it, I was in tears. I finally felt understood. It was not an unhealthy diet or lack of exercise. It was not depression, and it was not laziness. It was and is a chronic illness. I feel the best way to describe what my life is like and how Molly has impacted it is to tell you the spoon theory. It is quite long, so I'm going to summarize it a bit. You can find the full story online just by searching the spoon theory. Basically, a girl named Christine Misencik, I most likely butchered that, but we're just going to pretend I didn't. Anyway, Christina has a chronic illness, and she was having lunch with a friend. And her friend wanted to understand the realities of living with a chronic illness. Christine looked around, trying to find the words to describe it. She began grabbing spoons from all the tables surrounding them. She handed her friend a bouquet of spoons that she'd gathered. She explained that the spoon she had been given is her energy for the day. She then tells her friend to walk her through her day. With every action, she has to take away a spoon. The friend starts saying, "I get ready." Christine quickly stops her and says, "You do not just get ready. You get up out of bed, take away a spoon. Take a shower, take away a spoon, or two, depending on the day. Brush your teeth, take away a spoon." By the time the friend got to work, she realized she was nearly out of spoons for the day. Christine explains that she could borrow spoons from the next day, but that means tomorrow you'll have less to work with. While most people have an infinite number of spoons, even if you have to get a couple extra spoons from coffee, you still get an infinite amount. Having a chronic illness requires me to pick and choose where I use my spoons and what is worth a spoon or two and what is simply not. Molly is my extra spoons. She does things that helps me conserve my energy or spoons so I can use them to play with my kids or just to do something that I'd like to do that day. Molly can help with laundry, as you saw in the video. She can help me stand up off the ground. She can get things for me, blankets, phone, keys, basket, or whatever I need her to get off the floor. She can turn lights on and off and get me drinks from the fridge, and basically anything I try to teach her, she catches on real quick. And before you ask, I will not rent her out. Well, on second thought, I am a single mom of twin boys, so if you're interested, just come see me after. I'm just kidding. I'd never rent out my Molly girl. There are so many symptoms that I have that Molly helps with, but we'd be here all day if I listed everything. Some of my symptoms were in the video. Ultimately, having Molly has allowed me to be a better mom, which is all I want to be. My boys, Jackson and Branson, deserve a normal mom, whatever normal even means. Molly has given me the opportunity to be a better and a little closer to normal mom. She's allowed me to use my spoons to play with the kids or cook dinner instead of having pizza for the third time this week. Although my boys never complained of having pizza or DoorDash deliver dinner, my bank account definitely complained and cried a bit. Having the energy to cook a meal for my kids is a blessing and something that many people take for granted. I'm thankful for the extra spoons that Molly provides. She's the cutest bouquet of spoons ever, and I cannot thank ICAN, the donors, volunteers, trainers, and the good Lord himself for providing me with the perfect service dog, or helper dog, as my kids have called her. She's truly changed my life, my kids' lives, my parents' lives, and everyone surrounding me. As soon as I got her, my family has been, and friends have been with me since I was obviously a little girl, and I said, I got Molly now. I think my parents can sleep for the first time in 20 years. I want to thank you all for listening and allowing me to give you a slight glimpse of my life with a hidden disability. Just remember that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of your night. Thanks.
Brittany, thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank you so much to all of our guests tonight who have shared their stories with ICAN as well.
So now we're going to begin talking a bit about why we're all here tonight, to really support the ICAN organization, to keep this process unbelievably functional forever and ever. That's what my wish would be. So I believe the different ways that we can work is that we help unleash abilities. You could just hear that in Brittany's voice, in what it's done for her. But I also think it's opening windows for people, if I can really quote Warden Turner, it's to make sure that the apple is growing after the seed has been planted. So I think that's very important for us to talk about tonight.
At ICAN, there's a saying, right? When a door of possibility opens, a dog runs right through it. So that may be an ICAN client needing a service dog, or an opportunity to allow a handler to grow and make successful reentry to their family and our communities. And you know what? The opportunities that this presents is absolutely endless.
So tonight we're actually thrilled to share some exciting news, and we want to introduce you to one of ICAN's newest clients. His name's Rex. He's a Vietnam vet, and he recently received an ICAN dog named Lunar. Rex is just one of the many examples where the doors of possibility continue to open. So it's a very short video, just less than a minute, but it's unbelievably, again, I use the word powerful.
My name is Rex Gordon. Some people call me Flash. I walk with a walker and a cane, and my balance is terrible. I've had 4 back surgeries, and the last one was really nasty, and I can't bend over. Sitting in a regular chair, it's a major operation to put my shoes on and take them off. I've always been an active person. I could not stand to sit still. I had to be doing something, but I've gotten to the point where, like I said, I'm lazy. I can see that changing right now. I worked with Lunar for 2 days and got to take him home for the weekend. And I have not been on the couch once. Lunar has, but I haven't. And I can see right now it's going to be beneficial for me, not only physically, but mentally.
So how amazing is that, right? Lunar is already changing Rex's life in just the 3.5 months that Rex has had him. Rex, would you mind raising your hand and saying hi? Maybe been standing. I see him right in front of me. Had to call him out. Thank you for being here. So as if Rex and Lunar's story wasn't good enough in itself, right? Rex has a really, really good friend. He's actually a self-made businessman from Kokomo. And this friend absolutely adores and loves dogs. So since 1962, they've been friends. And wanting to help ICAN, Rex had a conversation with him about making a donation to ICAN. And something amazing happened out of that conversation. This week, we just got word that this very generous man that was introduced to ICAN through Rex, through Lunar, and through all of the donors' very generous donations that have come to bring Lunar into Rex's life, that this friend has just decided to donate a Chevy Equinox to ICAN, and tonight, the title papers have arrived. So not only has one door opened, 4 doors have opened, and of course the tailgate, right? That's going to allow ICAN to travel many more places and is just going to make a huge difference for the organization. So Rex, thank you, and thank your friend very much as well.
So one of the many ways that you can get involved with ICAN is to provide your financial support. And it's an amazing adventure. And I think one of the real reasons I'm up here, because Nicole is so good with the words. I mean, it just rolls from her. I'm horrible with scripts. I'm just bad with it. But I'm good at talking from the heart. No, where's my box of Kleenex? But sponsoring is so unbelievable. So I'll tell you a little bit about my company because it's not a big company. I have 25 employees, but we feel so strongly in ICAN that we are on our 3rd sponsored dog. And we do this because it engages everyone. And I'm not going to complain about other organizations that need money that you donate to, but it is the continual connection. It is the letters that you get from the handler. And in fact, one ended up on the table here tonight, and I started reading and I couldn't finish it because they talk in a very heartfelt manner about what they feel, how it's changing them. Then they tell us the fun things about the dogs. But it's very important because all of my employees get engaged as well. We get to name the puppy, and we've had a lot of fun doing that. We also have had puppy showers. We've had pajama parties. And we have visits from the particular client in many cases. So it has been one of those things that never leaves you. You get to see the end point, the end result. And I think that's very important to consider when you're thinking about sponsoring. So again, I'm a small company. I've got some of my folks here at the table, but we're not huge, but it's amazing what we get back, just as much as everyone else who may be donating to different organizations. We live it, we follow it, and it's something that is so important and at the heart, because we do love seeing unleashing of abilities of hope within people. So I'm going to stop there before I cry again.
In this room tonight, there are more than 30 ICAN pups and dogs in training. They've obviously been talking throughout the presentation, trying to steal the thunder, getting lots of pets. But also in this room tonight, there are some dogs that are actually sitting with their sponsor, or before the program began, their sponsored dog made a visit the table. So if you feel comfortable sharing, please hold up your hand or stand up if you are currently sponsoring an ICAN dog or you have sponsored one in the past. We would love to recognize you, to thank you for changing lives. So there are actually 2 ways that you can sponsor a dog, and these funds will greatly assist ICAN to, of course, help cover the cost of nutrition, supplements, medical tests, breeding costs for an entire litter of puppies. In fact, we have 3 puppies right now that need to be named, and by starting at $5,000 or $416 a month entry level, you can sponsor and name an ICAN dog. But who am I talking about? We need to see these guys, right? It would be fantastic to have these 3 pups come to the stage, and I would love to introduce them by their birth names because they are still waiting for their official names from their sponsors. Yay. This is August. We also have Janice and Nina. I've just been informed Janice is on potty break, which we all understand is very important during this time in a puppy's life. So we will show Janice in just a bit.
Yes. And as we understand, we had a bathroom break on the way up, so that's okay. All right. So I think it's really important. We have these 3. But there are many more to potentially sponsor. And therefore, what we are looking for is people to stand up to potentially support the puppies. Now, there's also another level of sponsorship, and this is a company business level or just an individual in position to give more. And that's a gift of $25,000. And that will support the entire cost of our service dogs and training, from birth to placement, as well as lifetime support of that partnership, which can be 8 to 10 years. And I can tell you, our first dog, we've gone through years with him, with Pearson, son of Pierce. Oh, they're heavy. So, I love it. So what about sponsorship? How many people in this audience have a desire and a passion to be a sponsor for one of these puppies? It's hard for me to see because the light is so bright out there, but I just know there's some people. Oh, I see some over here. All right, we have one. The whole table. Excellent. Oh, and here comes our 3rd installment. All right. Oh, look at that face. Oh.
Now that was worth the wait, right?
That was. So we have one. Sorry.
I heard somebody in the back. Awesome. Number 2.
Awesome. Very good. All right. I see it here.
Number 3.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Number 3. But again, let's not stop there because, as we all know, litters bring more puppies. And therefore, we still want to gather how many more can we sponsor to continue this process? Any more? Come on. I know you're out. Oh, I see someone. Another. Thank you.
We'll continue to give you time to think on that as we tell you a little bit about one of ICAN's continuing supporters, the Built Well Event Center, this, of course, lovely facility where we are tonight. They were introduced to their 2nd puppy to name and sponsor, and we would love to bring her up on stage. Her name is currently Tulip until Jeanette and Taki decided her new name. And keep in mind, as a major sponsor, your logo or name will appear on a patch and be attached to the dog's vest during its 2 years of training. So you have that special 2-year partnership. It's a really amazing opportunity.
Yes. Thank you. Great. And over the past 75 minutes, which I just love this part of it, I do. It's just makes you want to cuddle. But over the past 75 minutes, I hope you have felt how ICAN plays a vital role in our communities. And it really has reminded me of what a true privilege this is for me to be a part of this organization and for my employees as well. And for those that have been here before, you've chosen to support ICAN, and thank you. These stories are part of the bigger legacy that you have given to ICAN through the generosity and commitment of time. For those that are new to ICAN, and I was counting when I saw new hands up, for those of you new to ICAN and you're just now learning of the mission, I hope you've been moved to really support the organization and feel the power again of these heartfelt journeys of perseverance, hope, and possibility.
So it's my absolute joy to ask you to make a financial gift, and not only our ongoing success, but the success of people like Tony, the success of people like Brittany and Rex. We are here to make an investment in our community. This is not just a gift to ICAN. This is an investment into the future of people who need us to believe in them. And to me, that is why we are all truly here, to be part of be a part of something bigger than ourselves and to give to others. And when we started to look and say, what did we want to ask you for? We decided to request what is needed most: financial support for our day-to-day operations. Right now, we have 90 people waiting for a service dog from ICAN. Brittany said that she waited 3 years for her Molly dog to come into her life. 4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
4 years. So there's 90 people waiting. We have 60 handlers working to train and prepare our dogs for service. So in order for us to meet those needs, we need about 15 to 20 more puppies annually into our program and at least 10 more handlers into our program as well.
So the most effective way to be part of our growth, with the exception of sponsoring a dog, is by becoming a member of the Heart of the Mission. This is our monthly giving program, and we currently have 69 people in the club, if you will. And tonight, our goal is to get to 100 Heart of the Mission donors. And the reason to become a member of the Heart of the Mission tonight is that we have a generous donor, so the timing of this is so perfect. The Community Foundation of Boone County has offered up a challenge grant to help us meet that goal. So the Community Foundation of Boone County will match up to $5,000 of any new monthly donor. This doubles your gift immediately, and it increases your impact. And then if you add to that, if your company also matches the gift, that could actually triple the original size of your donation. So it's a wonderful incentive. And please join me in thanking the Community Foundation of Boone County for their generous offer on that.
So for those of you who have a table host at your table, you should have already received a pledge card and envelope. If not, and you're not part of a table that has a host, there are just large white envelopes on your table. Feel free to grab one. There are 8 pledge cards inside, and then you can just go ahead and share one with guests. Now these